Hello, and welcome to Game 4 of my 2000 point league using Chaos Knights. In this game, as you can see on screen, our prime mission was Linchpin, and our mission rule was Prepared Positions. Prepared Positions lets you use Go to Ground and Heroic Intervention for free on battle line units. I believe you can still only do it the once though. It doesn't let you do it if you've already done it that turn like some rules do. The Linchpin, the primary mission, is if you're holding your home objective, that's worth 3 victory points. Then while you are holding your home objective, every other objective you hold gives you 5 victory points. If you're not holding your home objective, then each objective is only worth 3 victory points. For my list, you probably know what I'm using by now if you've watched any of the other reports from my league. Just in case you haven't yet, I'm using the Chaos Knight Lancer, a Wardog Stalker with the Aura of Terror, which is the sticky objective enhancement, 6 Brigands, all with Havoc multi-launchers, and 3 Carnivores, all with Havoc multi-launchers, because having that much indirect is really powerful. This first fixture is the field after the first turn, because obviously I forgot to take pictures. Now, looking at the board, of course your first question is, does the Lancer fight the Avatar of Cain down at the bottom? And yes, it does. And we will get to that later. So, first turn, I went first. I got no prisoners and area denial. I didn't bother going for area denial, although it's 5 points. If I put something in the middle, it would just be sacrificing it, which I didn't really want to do first turn. So we discard that at the end of the turn for a command point, but we did also draw no prisoners, which we did end up killing 2 units, because he had 2 infiltrator units on the top left objective and the bottom right objective, which I just hit with a load of indirect, which is what makes indirect so powerful. Just, if there's a weak unit, as my indirect is strength 5, I'm wounding majority of things on 3s that want to be the target of indirect anyway. So, flung them over. I believe they were Rangers, but I could be wrong. I believe that's what they were though. This game, I decided to do something slightly different. So I had a Carnivore and a Brigand in reserves this time. The idea was that the Brigand would walk on the board, and the Carnivore would be a rapid ingress target. It's something that I'd been thinking about doing the last few games and just hadn't bothered. But you will see this game that they actually worked quite well. Although, I did forget about my Brigand when it came to... I had just finished my turn 3. My opponent was kind enough, they said, you can put it on the board, but put it where you would have put it. And I said, to be honest, I have no idea where I would have put it. So, to the fairest way possible I could think of doing it, I put it in the far corner of my deployment zone. So it was literally just there for indirect fire. That's why in a few of the later pictures you will see there's a random Brigand in my home field for no apparent reason. That is why. However, the Carnivore I did end up rapid ingressing. So you'll see that because it played a big part later on down the line. So my opponent's turn 1, he got no prisoners and marked for death. He did end up keeping, as he didn't score it on his first turn. In my second turn, I drew Bring It Down and Storm Hostile Objective. At the time, he was only holding his home objective and the bottom right objective, but the bottom right objective had the Avatar of Cain on it, and I couldn't get my Lancer there in one turn to be able to charge it. so I left it where it was for now. I did end up scoring Bring It Down for 2. I cannot remember what I killed. I believe it was called a War Walker. Like the Eldar equivalent of a Dread Knight. Not Dread Knight, sorry. A Dreadnought. That kind of scale of enemy. And that was about it in my turn. Got rid of Storm Hostile at the end of the turn for a CP again. Then my opponent's... Oh, at the end of my turn, he managed to get no prisoners for 2 points. Then in his turn, he drew Cleanse and Engage in all fronts, which he managed to get 2 points for both. So at this point, my opponent was scoring secondaries more, but I was getting more primary. And we were very back and forth, taking over each other on points at this point. Turn 3, I draw Sabotage and Marked for Death. So for Marked for Death, you can't see it amazingly in this picture, but you chose Avatar, which was still bottom left. Then if you look carefully at the top, behind that building, he has 2 Wraith... They're not Wraith Guard, they're Wraith something. I cannot remember what they're called. But 2 big scary Wraith units. They had 2 Bright Lancers, which are similar to las cannons, and a massive sword, which did not do my War Dogs any favours. So it was those 2 and the Avatar. Then I managed to get Sabotage down in the bottom right with, I believe it was a Brigand in the end, because it was going to be my Carnival, but then he ran off to do something else. But I did end up keeping my War Dog alive for Sabotage, but Marked for Death I did not score this turn. Then my opponent got Bring It Down and Established Locust. Now, Established Locust, they got for 2 points. This is what happened in my turn. Setting up the charge. The Lancer makes it. Tank Shock knocks 4 or 5 wounds off him. And then the battle begins. So Lancer has 5 attacks. Hitting on 2s, he's strength 20, whereas the Avatar is only tough 11, and the Lancer also has the Lance special rule in the name. So I'm hitting on 2s, and I'm wounding on 2s. 3 1s is what I rolled to hit. So I spend a command point, I reroll one of them, it's a 1. So I'm like, that's okay, it's 2 wounds, we'll roll them. I got another 1. So he makes 1 saving throw, and he saves it. The Avatar then hits me back, dealing 15 wounds. Then, in his next turn, he moved up a unit of Wraith Guard to shoot at the Knight. At this point, he has 10 wounds left. He knocks another 4 off with his 5 Wraith Guard. Then he charges up his Shining Spears, I believe they are called. It's a unit of bikes that are like very anti-vehicle. He had multiple units of them that were relatively hard to move considering their size. But they then charge in, they kill the Lancer, but although the Lancer's dead, it's sad, but he fails to kill the 2 Brigands next to the Lancer. One of them doing sabotage, as I said a moment ago. The other one, you can see in the picture now. He then spent, I can't remember what they're called, but the new army rule for Elder, they basically got a sheet of these different maneuverability things they can do. He uses one of them to give him a 6-inch consolidation. So he does that, and he moves into the 2 brigands that I was talking about. The one doing sabotage and the one you can see on screen now. Going into my turn 4, the 2 brigands just shoot everything around them. There was obviously the bikes they were in combat with. There was then a big blob of Eldar in the centre of the board, which their Havoc launchers went into. Their chain... what's it called? Chain Avenger cannon? Avenger chain cannon? That one. Avenger chain cannon. And melters went into the bikes in front of them, wiping the unit. The big unit in the middle was then finished off using the other brigands' multi-launchers, and the 2 marked for death Wraith targets that are currently still behind that building, because my pictures have not caught up with me. They're currently still there, and they were also wiped out using a mixture of melters and the Avenger chain cannon. So, this turn 4, I only got 8 on primary, as I was only holding my home and 1 other objective. But I did get 5 for March for Death, and I got 4 on engage on all fronts. This is because I rapid ingressed my Carnivore at the end of my opponent's turn, at the end of my opponent's movement phase, right into their deployment zone. So he was already there, and he also charged the Wraith Guard that shot at the Lancer. I believe he killed 3 of them. He killed enough. Oh, there we go, pictures have caught up now. So in the top left, you can see the 2 Wraith units I was talking about, and they are just surrounded by War Dogs now. It was the Stalker and 2 Brigands. In the top right, so where my Carnivore has just charged... oh no, he's about to charge the Wraith unit. You can see this must have been midway through my shooting phase, as there's still a few bikes left around the Brigands. And then that is the big unit in the middle that I was talking about. All of those yellow boys in the centre. So, my opponent's turn 5. They got... my opponent's turn 4. They drew Area Denial, which they easily had, as this big block of people were already there. I believe they're Guardians. I'm going to call them Guardians, I could be wrong. Then they also drew Secure No Man's Land, which they currently have. As in the bottom right, they have the Avatar of Cain holding that objective, and they obviously hold the centre objective. I couldn't stop that. They also decided to take a secret mission, which I had absolutely no idea which one it was, because they could have chose hold 3 objectives, or they could have chose get their Warlord on my home objective. Because you have to have your Warlord on their home objective, you don't have to control that objective. So, if you look at what's left of the big unit in the centre, the blue one was his Warlord. So he just needs to get that on my home objective, and he would have gained his secret. So I knew I needed to kill that. He had to hold 3 objectives, was the other one that I thought he may take. So I needed to kill as many of his units as possible to make sure he could not do that. So my turn 5, I went on a bit of a rampage killing his units. I drew Secure No Man's Land, which wasn't a problem. I was holding the top left one, and I could move onto the middle one. That wasn't a problem. I then drew Defend Stronghold, which I knew I would score, but I didn't trust it. So I got rid of it in the hope to get something that would score me more points. which luckily in this scenario, it did. I got rid of it. I drew Overwhelming Force, which is killing enemy units on objectives. So you get 3 points for doing 1, you get 5 points for doing 2 or more. So I cleared the centre objective. That counted as 2 units. The Guardians as 1, his Warlord as the other. I technically killed a 3rd unit, being the top left with that Wraith unit that's really going to bug me that I can't remember the name of it. I'm going to say Wraith Lord. I have no idea if that's right, but that's what we're going with now. So the Wraith Lord died, the 2 units in the centre died, the Avatar. I didn't shoot it purely because he has a reactive move as part of his army rule, that if I shoot at him, he'd then be able to move d6 plus 1 inches. He can't move into combat, but he can freely move d6 plus 1 inches, which I didn't trust. So I just left it. From that, I end with a score of 80. 42 out of 50 on primary, 28 out of 40 on secondary. My secondaries were just not going in my favour this game until the end. Turn 4 and turn 5, the only 2 turns where I scored both my secondaries. My opponent's turn 5, they scored no primary. As you can see at the bottom left now, I moved my Brigand across, and the Brigand had more OC than the Avatar. So he scored no primary. He then drew Assassination. The only character I had left was the Stalker, which is currently in the centre, which you can see now. The Avatar tried to charge it, but failed the charge. I believe it needed an 8 or 9. I'm recording this a few days after the game now, so I don't fully remember. But I believe it needed an 8 or a 9 to make it, and it failed, re-rolled, and failed. And then Sabotage, which he got with his 2 Wraith... I forgot even their name now. Wraith Guard, which he scored in the centre, as you can see. So the game ended 80 to 54. So it looks like a wipeout, but it really wasn't, because I still had no idea what his secondary mission was. So it could have been a lot closer very easily. As well as, if down at the bottom, previously in the game, my Brigands weren't able to kill his bikes, that could have been a massive problem for me. Because those bikes were just tearing through everything they got into combat with. So once I knew they were a target, it wasn't as bad from that point on. But yeah, had I failed to kill them, I think the game would have ended it very differently. So that's game 4. Game 5, I now have the matchups for, which I don't normally have when I'm recording these. So if you give me a moment, I am going against the Tau player. He's using the detachment where from the 3rd round onwards, they get sustained hits 1, and if their unit is guided, they get sustained hits 2. This person they are a very experienced player. They go to tournaments all the time. And if you've watched my Jakari tournament video with Reaper's Wager, this is the same person that was playing Thousand Suns in that event. And that time round, they wiped the floor with me. So, we'll see what happens with that. There's not really much else I can say till it happens. But we are using Scorched Earth and Inspired Leadership. I've never won a game with Scorched Earth as the primary. So we'll see if my luck changes. There is still a chance of me winning the league though. If the Necron player loses his next game, I win mine with a decent score, I may end up winning the league, which is something to look forward to. It's nice to know there's still potential. On screen now, you can see a load of different works from Thick Daddy Paints. He is the person that commissioned my Knight Lancer, which is really well painted. You've seen it in my last few videos. I sent him a message asking if he could send me some pictures of other works that he's done, just so I can show he can do a variety of different things. It's not just big bulky robots. He does do a load of different things. You've seen some of the Death Guard I've just shown. As you can see, he can also do Mechanicus and the Assassin that was there to start with. So please, if you were thinking about a commission, send him a message. He'll give you a quote, see what you can work out. But thank you all for watching. There will be my links and Thick Daddy Paints links in the description. Send either of us a message if you need anything, and I will see you in the final game and the round off of the league.